having a good time. Please don't blame me. I'm knocking myself out. Don't try to tame me. Let me have my fun. I gotta have my fling. Some folks say I've blown my top. Talk don't mean a thing. I'm living my life while I'm living. I'm giving it a real good try. I'm having a ball today. I'm passing nothing by. So if I make my road rough, well, that's my problem. I'm having a good time, living my life today. I'm having a good time, living my life today. Yes, folks, we're living our life today. Hi. Well, we're here. Another show. Wow, I can't believe it. Can you imagine? It's just about June. The months go so fast here, don't they? Well, I had a challenge. At least I took it as a challenge. Our CEO, Joe Trainer, does a chat, and every week, and it's repeated on our JKV TV every day, Monday through Friday, as my show is. And he happened to mention about me writing a song about distancing. So I love challenges. So I wrote this song, folks. And so Joe, I took up the challenge. Hope you like it. Here we go. The song is called Spaces of Love. Spaces of love, spaces of love. I am here, you are there. There's so much that we can share. What a beautiful day to be outdoors, my friend. Did you bring lunch? Thanks a bunch. Did you bring fried chicken? Wow. Did you bring me a Coke? Fantastic. Did you bring me a cake? Oh, I love you. I'll sit here. You sit there. Let's eat. Spaces of love, spaces of love. No matter where you are, I'm not that very far. We'll have fun in the sun or under the stars. Hi, is your doggy taking you for a walk? Can I come too? I am here, you are there. I'll walk here, you walk there, let's talk. Spaces of love, spaces of love. I am here, you are there. There's so much that we can share. Spaces of love, spaces of love. No matter the distance, no matter where, we'll be there with our spaces of love. Spaces of love. Spaces of love. So that's what we're calling it, folks. Between me and, like, Shannon's over there, she's recording this. Between us, me and Shannon, there's a space of love. Even though I can't hug her, and every time we do our show recording, I say to Shannon, I wish I could hug her, and I know she'd like to hug me too. But we have our space of love, and it's okay. There is a resident. I have not seen him for quite a while. But he came up to the piano in the lounge and said to me, would I do 12th of Never? And he mentioned it being done by a country artist. You know, I never heard a country artist do 12th of Never. I'm just used to hearing Johnny Mathis do this song. So I went and listened on YouTube and heard it done by a country artist. But it was in the same tempo, sounded, same tempo that Johnny Mathis sings it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this for you. So if you're out there watching the show, you'll know who you are. You ask how much I need you. Must I explain? I need you, oh, my darling, like roses need rain. You ask how long I'll love you. I'll tell you true, until the 12th of never, I'll still be loving you. Hold me close, never let me go. Hold me close, melt my heart like April snow. I'll love you till the bluebells forget to bloom. I'll love you till the clover has lost its perfume. I'll love you till the poets run out of rhyme, until the 12th of never, and that's a long, long time, until the 12th of never, and that's a long, long time. Yes, 1956, Johnny Mathis. When I was working at the piano bars, I got a lot of different requests. And one that I would get, and you probably going to think I'm making this up, but I'm not. One time, and it might be a couple times it's happened, a couple was celebrating their anniversary and came up to the piano bar and said to me, would you do a song for our anniversary? And I said, well, of course I will. And this is a song that they asked for. It's the truth, folks. Please release me, let me go, for I don't love you anymore. To waste our lives would be a sin. Release me and let me love again. I have found a new love, dear, and I will always want him near. His lips are warm while yours are cold. Release me, my darling, let me go. And I'll tell you what, I could see her face. I could see the wife's face. Don't remember his face, but I remember hers. And found out that night he asked her for a divorce on their anniversary. Well, you can imagine what it did to her. Here's another song. Oh my goodness, the stories I could tell you, and they're true. Another song that they asked me for was, remember this one? You're cheating hard. your cheating heart is gonna tell on you. Yep, that's the truth. For anniversaries. Oh my. I met a lot of wonderful people when I was performing. And one of those beautiful people was Ruby Keeler. Now, some of you may remember the name Ruby Keeler. I hope you do. Because she was the star of 42nd Street. I'm talking about the 1933 version, 42nd Street. Now, when they did that musical in 1933 was written out 42nd Street. Now, it was brought back many years later in color, and it was simply 42nd with the numbers, 42nd Street. But I still like the black and white version with Ruby Keeler. So I'm on the Delta Queen, and Ruby Keeler comes on with her with a lovely lady who was her caretaker, and we struck up a bond. It was just wonderful. And she asked me to go with her. We were in Wellsburg, West Virginia. And she asked me to go with her and pick out, she was looking for quilts for twin beds. So I did. I went with her, and we just had a wonderful time together. And that evening, she brought something that I didn't see her do it, but she bought this beautiful sun catcher in one of the shops, and she did it without me seeing her do it, and it's on my window. It's absolutely beautiful, and I treasure it. Just a wonderful, wonderful lady. And it wasn't long after that she passed away. Can't forget her. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a couple of songs from 42nd Street. All right? I know you'll remember them. Come and meet those dancing feet on the avenue. I'm taking you to 42nd Street. Hear the beat of dancing feet. It's a song I love, the melody of 42nd Street. Little nifties from the 50s, innocent and sweet. Sexy ladies from the 80s who are indiscreet. Side by side they're glorified, where the underworld can meet the elite. 42nd Street. You know, folks, when they talked about the 50s, they were talking about the 1850s. Come on along and listen to the lullaby of Broadway, the hip parade and the ballyhoo. The lullaby of Broadway, the rumble of a subway train, the rattle of the taxis, the daffodils who entertain, and Angelos and Maxis. When a Broadway baby says goodnight, it's early in the morning. Manhattan babies don't sleep tight until the dawn. Good night, baby. Good night. The milkman's on his way. Sleep tight, baby. Sleep tight. Let's call it a day and listen to the lullaby of old Broadway. Oh my goodness, Broadway. Let's go on to this song. Liza Minnelli sang this song in 1977, in a film called New York, New York. And then in 1980, Sinatra came out and had a monster hit. And of course, this song is played in New York constantly. I think they've adopted it as their city song. But anyway, maybe for the state. But so here we go, folks. So you can lift your feet, up and down, get a little exercise there. All right, so because we're doing this one right here. Ready? Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray. And right through the very heart of it, New York, New York. I want to wake up in a city that doesn't sleep and find out queen of the hill, cream of the crop, top of the heap. These little town blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it in old New York. And if I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York. Give my records to Broadway. Remember me on Herald Square. Tell all the gang on 42nd Street that I will soon be there. Whisper of how I'm yearning to mingle with the old-time throng. Give my regards to old Broadway. Say that I'll be there ere long. I know some of you are singing with me because you've been telling me that. Yeah. I talked to Mim Dunning last night. She lives up on North Lake, and Mim says that she sings along. Bless her heart. I know you do, because I know you tell me, and that's a good thing. Well, I had sad news yesterday when I got we have a paper that comes to our mailbox with prayer lists, and you get very, very close here in our residence. We love them dearly. And when they have to leave us, it hurts. We all know it's going to happen someday, but it still hurts. There was a gentleman and he was a gentleman. He would ride his bicycle about 3 times a day through this village. And whenever he saw me, he'd make a turn around to come back. If I was in my car, he'd come and talk to me. And we had lunch together not long ago, before the stay-at-home started. He's just a wonderful gentleman. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when I saw it yesterday and that he had passed away. And then another gentleman, Stu Edmunds. Stu was one of my sunshine singers. But what he really was a very loving, gentle man. And we lost him this week. I was also very sad to hear that Elva Basted, another one of my sunshine singers, had passed away. And for everybody that we love and who've left us, we don't forget you. We still love you. And we have the memory of you. That will never be forgotten. It's a wonderful thing about us, that we have a memory and we keep it for as long as we can. So I want to do this song now. Since I started the show, I've had like 4 different people ask me to do it. Back in the day when I was much younger, and I did this song. It was, of course, much easier for me. But now, this year I'm 80 years old, and the voice changes. Still, I'm going to do the best I can today on this song because it means a lot to all of you. And it was also the song that my mother loved. So here it is, folks. In memory of those who've left us, that we will always love and never forget. Here is from Cats, Memory. And by the way, my favorite version of this was done by Streisand. Midnight, not a sound from the pavement. As the moon lost her memory, she's smiling alone. In the lamplight, the withered leaves collect at my feet, and the wind begins to moan. Memory, all alone in the moonlight, I could dream of the old days. Life was beautiful then. I remember the time I knew what happiness was. Let the memory live again. Every street lamp seems to beat a fatalistic warning. Someone mutters and a street lamp sputters, and soon it will be morning. Daylight, I must wait for the sunrise. I must think of my new life. And I mustn't give in. When the dawn comes, tonight will be a memory too, and a new day will begin. Burnt out ends of smoky days, the stale cold smell of morning. A street lamp dies, another night is over, another day is dawning. Touch me, it's so easy to leave me all alone with the memory of my days in the sun. And if you touch me, you'll understand what happiness is. Look, a new day has begun. You will never be forgotten. Well, I wrote a couple of other songs this week. When I play in the lounge on Thursdays, I play with Rosemary Melishai. I had only been here a week. And back in January of 2018, I'd only been here a week. And I get this call from Rosemary. I'd never met her. She wanted to know if I would play the piano with her. She heard that I had been an entertainer and so forth by a friend that we have here, known me for about 30 years, I guess, at least. And I talked about Betty Mono and sang her some songs back on my second show, I believe it was. Well, anyway, Rosemary called me, and so we started playing. And I'm playing songs with her that I never did before. I never did classical tunes. I'm a self-taught pianist, and I just never did classical. I was always doing commercial piano because that's what I did in my shows, right? So we do the classics, and I do my own arranging of it, and we do show tunes and a lot of the standards too. She's just a joy to perform with. I love her. Well, here's a song that I wrote for Rosemary this week. She's never heard it, so I hope she likes it. Rosemary's violin, Rosemary's violin, there's a melody I hear from Rosemary's violin. It brings to me a memory, a beautiful and touching memory, that melody from Rosemary's violin. Is she playing Beethoven, or could it be Bach? Those sweet sounds that have entered my heart. Or maybe it's Tchaikovsky, maybe it's Liszt, that gives me this wonderful feeling of bliss. Rosemary's violin, Rosemary's violin, don't let it leave me, don't let it go. Rosemary, play your violin. You have found my very soul. That was for you, Rosemary. Well, this next one I wrote was for Saturday nights that I play with Muriel. And I've told you about Muriel before in my past shows. She amazes me because she never played the drums before she started with me, and I'm so glad that I bought that snare drum and put it by the piano. I knew I'd find somebody to play it, and boy, does she play it. Well, I thought I'm just going to write a song for Muriel. So here it is. Muriel, this song is for you. There's a gal I know, her name is Muriel. She got rhythm from her head to her heels. You think Gene Krupa is quite the deal. Just give her the brushes, let her go. She'll have the room rocking for the show. Bring on the jazz, bring on the groove. Muriel's here. It's time to move. Watch that rhythm. Hit your feet. Tap those toes to a beat. It's a fact. Muriel is a star of the act. Let's do that again. There's a gal I know. Her name is Muriel. She's got rhythm from her head to her heels. You think Gene Krupa is quite the deal? Just give her the brushes and let her go. She'll have the room rocking for the show. Bring on the jazz, bring on the groove. Muriel's here, it's time to move. I watch that rhythm, hit your feet. Tap those toes to the beat. It's a fact. Muriel is the star of the act. It's a fact. Muriel is the star of the act. That was for Muriel. Little jazz, yeah. All right. You know, I've been telling you about things in my life. Some things have surprised you, I know. This one might. Back in the late 60s, I was playing at the Holiday Inn in Marion, Indiana. I was there, I played there for quite some time. And, you know, it'd kind of been a dream of mine for a while, but I decided that I wanted to buy a farm. I wanted an Indiana farm, close to where I was performing. And I always talked at the piano bars like I talk with you. So I happened to mention one evening, I don't know what I did, maybe, I don't know what song I did to start this, but anyway, I said to the audience, you know, I think I want to buy a farm. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think I could ever afford a farm, but it's a nice dream. That evening, I'll never forget his name, Wilfred Laycock, who had been a businessman in the area, and he had somebody come up to me. I don't know if he came up to me or he had somebody do it and said, Phyllis, Mr. Laycock would like to talk to you after you get off the show. And now he was like I think he was like around 80 years old, you know, and I was in my my late 20s. He's a very, very nice gentleman. So I did after I got off, and you know, I usually just head on home, but I might have been staying there at the hotel, I can't remember. But anyway, I went and talked to him, and he said, Phyllis, I've got a farm that I think you might like to own. And he says, I'm going to give you a real deal on it if you will play my song for me when I come in. Well, I was doing that anyway. I knew his song, and I came in, you know. And so anyway, this is a song, and then I'll continue on with the story, okay? This is a song, and then I'll tell you what preceded this, okay? So here we go. Don't look so sad. I know it's over, but life goes on, and this old world will keep on turning. Let's just be glad we had some time to spend together. There's no need to watch the bridges that were burning. Lay your head upon my pillow. Hold your warm and tender body close to mine. of the raindrops blowing soft against the window, and make believe you love me one more time for the good times. That wonderful song was written by Chris Christopherson, and it was the big hit was done by Ray Price. In 1971, it got the Country Academy music album song for the single for the Academy Award, for the Country Academy Awards, and actually Rolling Stone magazine named it 18 of the 40 saddest songs of all time. Can you believe that? But people loved it, and I used to get, like, at my piano bar, I used to get to ask for at least twice a night to do that song. All right. So, Mr. Laycock gave me a business card. It happened to be his realtor. And so he said, call that, so I did. And so he said, so then I talked to them, and they said, I'll meet you out at the farm. The realtor told me, meet you at the farm. So I went there, and I couldn't believe it. 125 acres. And it was, had like about 60 acres of corn and soybeans fields. Plus like about 40, there was like about 40 acres, I'm thinking, of black walnut trees. And that beautiful big white fence, and this huge house, and big barn. I couldn't believe it. I said, there's no way I could afford this, no way. So the realtor said to me, Mr. Laycock has given me, told me how he'd like to have you be able to pay for, to own the farm. So he said, he says, $2,500 down and $600 a month on a land contract. Well, first of all, I didn't have $2,000, $2,500. But what I did have was I had been buying diamonds that I used in my shows. My rings, and I had a locket, and I had all this. I can't remember now what they were, but anyway, I bought them for like $20 a month or something like that at K Jewelers. I don't even remember what town that was. I bought those in. So I had those diamonds, and so I decided to take them to the bank in Sweetser, Indiana. It's a small bank. And I asked them if they would take that as collateral for $2,500. And they did. So, which I eventually got back, and then they were stolen. That's another, we'll forget that story. So anyway, I did. I got my farm. And I had it until I got my agent in Chicago had told me that there was a steakhouse in Florida that wanted me to come and work there. I worked there for a month. I knew then that I had a permanent job there, and I had to sell the farm. So I did, and I actually sold it for what I paid for it. Because I didn't have time to stay there and sell it, and so that's what happened. So now I want to tell you about my farm in Wabash, Indiana, but I'm going to do it a little differently, all right? So here we go. Phyllis Dale had a farm. She bought it with a song. An old white farmhouse, a big red barn, and in the back 40, a pond. 2 cows, 2 sheep, 2 pigs, 2 horses, 2 ducks, and a dog. 2 trucks, 2 tractors, and a 3-legged cat. She found herself farming a little of this and a little of that. It got pretty cold in the house with only 1 oil stove to warm her up. And the walls were all painted yellow so she would have sunshine in and out. It was a heart-filled home with neighbors stopping by to help. And if she had a problem, she only had to shout. She would lay down in the pasture so the cows would give her a kiss. And Lassie, who was really a laddie, a hug he'd never miss. It was hard work growing the beans and the corn, and then playing the piano into the early morn. Now there's only memories of a simpler time, when she wore jeans in the day and gowns in the town. Looking back to those years living on a farm she called Brigadoon, before she had to leave for faraway places to sing her tunes. She'll never forget the Indiana farm she bought with a song. Back home again in Indiana, and it seems that I can see a gleaming candlelight still burning bright through the sycamores for me. The new moon hay sends all its fragrance through the fields I used to roam. And when I dream about moonlight on the Wabash, now I long for my Indiana home. Oh, how I long for that Indiana home. And that's the story about my farm, folks. I'll never forget it. I talked to a gal today that lives in, not today, but this week, a musician friend of mine who lives in New York City. And she lives in a high-rise. And I said to her, how you doing? Because New York City's been hit so hard. How you doing? And she says, what I do is I go up to the roof, and I'm just out there at the open sky, and she says I just read or just meditate. And so she was saying that, and all of a sudden, bing, something come to my head, and I remembered this song. And the song is by the Drifters. It was written by Carole King. Carole wrote the music to it, and Jerry Goffin wrote the lyrics to it. So anyway, this is what I was thinking when she told me about going up on the roof. If this whole world starts getting me down, and people are just too much for me to face, I climb way up to the top of the stairs, and all of my cares just drift right into space. On the roof it's peaceful as it can be, and there the world below can't bother me. When I come home feeling tired and beat, I go up to where the air is fresh and sweet. Up on the roof I get away from the hustling crowd and all of that rat race noise down in the streets. Up on the roof, the only only place I know. You just have to wish to make it so. Tonight the stars put on a show for free, and darling, you can share it all with me. Right smack dab in the middle of town, I found a paradise that's trouble-proof. Up on the roof. And if this world starts getting you down, and there's room enough for two, up on the roof, up on the roof, up on the roof, up on the roof. Up on the roof, yeah. Oh, I could just picture up there. Now, not me. You wouldn't find me up there. No heights for Phyllis. No. I can't go up the Empire State Building. I couldn't go into the Terminal Tower in Cleveland. I only went up in the Washington Monument because I was only 7 years old, and I guess that panic of heights didn't bother me too much then. But oh no, you wouldn't see me up there I couldn't look down. So anyway, that's Phyllis. Well, I want to do this song. It's a song I wrote, and we're getting close to the end, and I want to do this tune for you. I had written this song, I guess maybe in the early 90s. I had done it, and I only sang it by myself. I never performed it, in public. And in 1997, it was February 1997, I was playing the piano up in the lounge on the Delta Queen. And a gentleman was there by the name of Ed Metz. Ed Metz played in the Bobcats, Bob Crosby and his Bobcats. And then when Bob Crosby passed away, Ed took over the band. Ed came up to my piano, and he enjoyed what I was doing, and he said, I think I had done another song that I had written, and I'd mentioned to the audience. And Ed came up to me to the piano, and he says, Phyllis, do you have any other songs that you've done? And he says, I'd like to hear, one of your favorites that you've written. I said, well, there is one that I've done, and I've never. I wrote the lyrics out, and I know it in my head, and he said, well, I'd like to hear it. So this is what I did, and the song. And after I had done it, he loved it. And he says, do you have the music for that? Have you put it on staff paper? And he says, no. I said, I just had the lyrics, and, the chords and that. So I says, no, it's just the music is in my head. He said, I have a small recorder with me. I'm going to sing. He says, I'm going to, after he did. So then he says, he came up afterwards and he said, after you close, will you do this song again for me? And I said, yes. And he said, I brought staff paper with me, and I'd like to put this on. He says, I'm going to record it, and I'm going to put it on staff paper. And he says, I'm going to make sure that you get a copy of it. So the next morning, he'd stayed overnight, and he must have done it during the night. Because the next morning, he gave me the staff paper with the musical notes on it. And he wrote on there at the top in the right-hand corner, Phyllis Dale and Ed Metz, February 1997. Ed passed away, I think it's been a few years now. But what a wonderful, nice man. And to think that, to think that he wanted to do that for me. He also wrote on there, in the left-hand corner, he wrote, slowly with feeling. So, anyway. I also want to say that I did this song only one other time, and that was, other than that time. And that was in the lounge here. And after I did it, Bob Dunham came up to me. And boy, did he touch my heart when he said he really liked that song. Thank you, Bob. I'm glad you liked it. I'm going to sing it now for you. Only me at the piano, only me singing my song, maybe the blues or a ballad, maybe a hot Dixieland tune. There's a crowd listening to me, but a cloud is all I see. And in that cloud is a memory. There you are, staring back at me. I hear voices speaking to me, requesting a tune now and then. I watch my fingers, they are playing. What was the last song I sung? Is this a spell you put me under? Every night an old lang syne, won't you free this haunting feeling and let me sing my song? I've had a wonderful time spending this time with you. Thank you for being out there. Thank you for watching. We're coming together, folks. If my music can help bring us together, that's a good thing, right? So let's sing this together, and I'll see you next week. Here we go. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. My, oh my, what a wonderful day. Plenty of sunshine heading my way. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Mr. Bluebird's on my shoulder. It's the truth, it's actual. Everything is satisfaction. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Wonderful feeling, it's a wonderful day. Thank you, I love you. Bye-bye. See you next week.